Okay, so the next album was Good Times, which did okay. And after that, you guys kind of started to shift your sound a little bit into more disco, right?
Right.
And with that next album, Wild and Peaceful, that's when things started to really take off for the group.
Yeah. Well, what happened with Wild and Peaceful? The record company came to us and said, listen, you guys have had some territorial hits, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, D.C. He said, but there's a record out there called A Soul Makusa by Mongo DeBongo. And he said, we want you to sit down with this producer and see if we can come up with a big record for you. We met him once and we said, nah, we weren't feeling him. So we went into a studio one morning, rehearsal studio, called Baggy Sound, down in the Village. And we went in there around 8 o'clock in the morning, and we just started jamming. By the time we finished, we had created Hollywood Swingin', Jungle Boogie, and funky stuff. No more problems from the record company. Those were big records for us.
Right, because that album, Wild and Peaceful, went number 33 on the album chart, the main chart, and this was your first gold album.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, Jungle Boogie was on that. That went number 4 on Billboard, eventually becoming a platinum single. Everyone sampled that. EPMD, Madonna, The Loonies. Hollywood Swingin' was on that album, number 6 on Billboard. DJ Kool sampled it for Let Me Clear My Throat.
That's true.
That was a big one. Mace sampled it for Feel So Good.
Right.
Too Short essentially redid the whole song for Money in the Ghetto.
Okay. What was the last sampling going on during that time?
Yeah, man. Funky Stuff was sampled by NWA and the Beastie Boys. This was essentially the album that really put Kool and the Gang on the map.
Wild and Peaceful, yes.
When that album dropped, and now, after having, this was your 4th album. You had 3 albums that did okay, but this 4th one, boom. It's on the charts, hit songs, on Billboard and everything else like that. How did it feel to have a success like this after doing it for so many years?
Well, it felt very good because you're talking about number 1 R&B records, number 1 pop records. And then the B-side, which was the peaceful side, we got a chance to stretch out a little bit. That song was almost 9 minutes long. Everybody took it solo.
Okay, so then that next year, in 74, you came out with the Light of the Worlds album. And that had Summer Madness on it.
Right.
Which went on to be sampled by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for their song Summertime, which essentially became their biggest song ever.
Yes.
When you guys put together Summer Madness, did you feel like you had something special on your hands?
Well, we really didn't know. Summer Madness was a part of a song called You Don't Have to Change. And at the end of You Don't Have to Change, there was a vamp there. And my brother was listening to that vamp one night. He had just got the ARP synthesizer. And he started fooling around with it. And he played over the vamp. And, you got something here. So Spike Mickens, who wrote You Don't Have to Change, he said, well, hey, I like that. I said, well, what are we going to call it? Call it Summer Madness. Not knowing that was going to become a big record.
Oh, yeah. Ice Cube sampled it on My Summer Vacation. And it was actually in the movie Rocky.
Yeah, right. It was. That first movie of Rocky, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that next year, in 75, you guys dropped Spirit of the Boogie album.
Right.
And that had Jungle Jazz on it.
Yes, it did.
And this was one of the most sampled songs of all time. It showed up in over 50 songs. Jay-Z, Tupac, Linkin Park, They all sampled it. Pump Up the Volume by the group Mars, which was a huge hit in the 80s. That essentially took that whole drum pattern. Like that whole drum breakdown was just used in just dozens and dozens of songs.
You're talking about jungle jazz now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you surprised how often people would reuse that song?
Yes, I mean, we weren't up on how many people were sampling and how many samples were out there, but we definitely heard, drum beat, like some of the groups you just mentioned, they sampled that. And then another song that they sampled a lot was called NT. There was a lot of sampling going on with that drum beat as well.